Are Prince Harry's constant ultimatums and Prince William's sudden rise as the Shadow King all just a stage drama? While the world watches the brothers fight a very public war, a far more dangerous game is being played behind the velvet curtains of Buckingham Palace. For decades, the public believed the rift between the House of Windsor's two sons was fueled by different visions of the future. But today, on CrownGaze, we provide undeniable proof of a different reality. We expose how Queen Camilla, the woman once at the center of the century's greatest royal scandal, is reportedly turning the true protectors of the monarchy into each other's greatest enemies. By seizing control of the king's private signature and his daily schedule, Camilla has reportedly activated a silent coup that could change the line of succession forever. If you want to know why the brothers can never reconcile, and why every olive branch is burned before it reaches the other side, you have to look at the one person who benefits most from their permanent war. Today, we go inside the palace walls to reveal the 10-point plan that has turned a family feud into a battle for the very survival of the British crown. The era of the Grand Enforcer has begun, and the truth is more shocking than any tabloid headline. The first point of our investigation takes us to the heart of the palace's current crisis, the gatekeeper's grasp. In late January 2024, the world was stunned by the announcement of King Charles III's cancer diagnosis. While the public offered prayers, a massive power vacuum was quietly opening within the corridors of power. Sources close to the royal household suggest that Queen Camilla has stepped into this void, not just as a supportive wife, but as the ultimate gatekeeper to the sovereign. Every document that requires the king's signature, every state official requesting a briefing, and every phone call from a concerned son must now pass through Camilla's office first. This isn't just about managing a schedule, it's about controlling the narrative. By positioning herself as the only person who can truly protect the king during his recovery, Camilla has reportedly gained the power to filter the information Charles receives. This gatekeeping role has a chilling side effect. It allows her to decide which brotherly messages reach the king and which ones are misplaced in the shuffle of state affairs. While William acts as the Shadow King on the public stage, Camilla is the one holding the keys to the private study. How do you ensure two brothers never speak again? You turn a family argument into a matter of national security. This is point 2, the security risk whisper. Prince Harry has been locked in a high-profile legal battle for years, challenging the Home Office's refusal to allow him to pay for police protection in the UK. But our investigation reveals a much darker layer to this conflict. Camilla is allegedly framing Harry's legal demands not as a son seeking safety, but as a national security risk. Reports suggest that Camilla has been whispering a specific narrative to the king, that any concession to Harry regarding security would compromise the integrity of the crown's protection protocols. By convincing Charles that Harry is a legal liability, she effectively forces Prince William to take a hardline stance. As the future king, William cannot be seen supporting someone labeled a security risk. This turns a brotherly truce into a security impossibility. Every time Harry asks for protection, Camilla ensures it is framed as a betrayal of the sovereign's safety, making it impossible for William to reach out without looking like he is compromising the crown's defenses. But for Camilla, the present isn't enough. She must also weaponize the past. This leads us to point 3, weaponizing the spare. In his explosive memoir, Spare, Prince Harry detailed a shocking physical altercation in 2019 at Nottingham Cottage. He recounted how William, piping hot with anger, reportedly grabbed him by the collar, ripped his necklace, and knocked him to the floor. Harry landed on a dog's bowl, which cracked under his back, leaving him with visible injuries. While the world saw this as a sign of the brothers' broken bond, our sources suggest Camilla has used this specific incident as a wedge. She reportedly keeps these memories fresh for King Charles, framing William not as the aggressor, but as the victim of Harry's uncontrollable rage. By focusing on the rolling catastrophe of their relationship, Camilla ensures that Charles views Harry as a permanent threat to the stability of the heir. Whenever the king expresses a desire for his sons to reconcile, famously saying, "Please boys, don't make my final years a misery," Camilla is there to remind him of the danger Harry poses to the future king. By weaponizing Harry's own words against him, she has built a wall of fear that even a father's love cannot easily climb. If history has taught us anything, it's that the British monarchy is built on laws so old they feel like myths. But in the hands of a master strategist, these myths become weapons. This is point 4, the 1717 reverse clause. Traditionally, the Grand Opinion of 1717 is known as the law that gives the sovereign absolute authority over the education and upbringing of their grandchildren. It was the very law that once allowed the late Queen to have the final say over William and Harry's lives. But our investigation reveals that Camilla's legal team is reportedly exploring a reverse clause flaws within this 300-year-old precedent. Instead of focusing on children, they are allegedly redefining crown guardianship. The argument? As queen consort, Camilla acts as the protector of the sovereign's peace. By invoking this interpretation, she could legally block Prince Harry from entering any royal residence without her explicit written permission, under the guise of protecting the king's health from emotional distress. This isn't just family gatekeeping, it is a legal exile. It effectively turns the king's home into a fortress where even his own son is treated as a legal intruder. Why hasn't Prince William stopped this? The answer lies in point 5, the Sussex distraction strategy. Like a magician using a smokescreen to hide a trick, Camilla reportedly uses the chaos of Montecito to keep William's hands tied. Our sources suggest that every time William attempts to consolidate his power as the Shadow King, or tries to modernize the palace's inner workings, a new Sussex leak conveniently appears in the tabloids. Whether it's a new claim about security or a teaser for a Hollywood project, these stories force William into immediate PR damage control. While William is busy defending the crown's image against his brother's latest move, he is unable to focus on the internal power grab happening within the palace walls. It is a brilliant, if ruthless, tactic. By keeping the fire of the brotherly war burning, Camilla ensures that William is too distracted to challenge her influence over the king's signature and the daily operations of the monarchy. In this game, Harry isn't just a brother, he is a permanent tactical distraction. Point 6 takes us into the world of forensic evidence, the behavioral archive. Following the reported success of the staff protection dossiers used in previous royal conflicts, Camilla has allegedly ordered the compilation of a new, highly specific file. This archive reportedly tracks Prince Harry's behavior during his brief, high-tension visits to London in 2024. Sources suggest that every reported outburst, every volatile interaction with palace staff, and every moment of perceived instability has been meticulously logged. Camilla then allegedly presents this behavioral archive to King Charles as forensic proof that Harry is mentally unfit for any future royal return. This isn't just about documenting bad moods, it's about building a case for permanent excommunication. By showing the king a paper trail of his son's unpredictability, Camilla makes it nearly impossible for Charles to argue for reconciliation. She frames Harry as a liability that would bankrupt the monarchy's reputation, forcing the king to choose between his son and the survival of the institution itself. But the final blow isn't emotional or legal, it's financial. Point 7, the inheritance strike. Power in the House of Windsor is tied directly to the purse strings of the Duchy of Lancaster and the king's private wealth. Sources reveal that Camilla is allegedly pushing for a loyalty clause to be inserted into the king's private will. This clause would legally block Prince Harry from accessing future trust funds unless he meets nearly impossible standards of institutional loyalty. Crucially, William is reportedly being pressured to support this move. The narrative presented to the Prince of Wales is one of protection, that Harry's greed and Hollywood lifestyle pose a threat to the financial security of William's own children, George, Charlotte, and Louis. By framing it as a way to save the inheritance for the future king, Camilla is effectively forcing William to sign his brother's financial death warrant. If this clause is enacted, Harry won't just be out of the family, he will be entirely cut off from the legacy his mother, Princess Diana, once helped build. The trap was set, the laws were rewritten, and the dossiers were filed. Camilla's silent coup seemed unstoppable, but even the best laid plans have a flaw. How did Prince William, acting as the Shadow King, finally discover the digital cage Camilla had built around him? And what was contained in the nuclear evidence he presented to the king at exactly 8 a.m.? In the final part of our investigation, we reveal the moment the Grand Enforcer struck back, and the final reckonings that will determine who truly rules behind the throne. The trap was set, but the Shadow King was watching. Point 8 of our investigation reveals the moment the untouchable Queen Camilla was reportedly caught in her own web, the Shadow King's discovery. As Prince William has been quietly taking over the crown's operations during King Charles's recovery, he has reportedly initiated a full-scale audit of palace security. But what he found wasn't an external threat, it was an internal one. Our sources suggest that William discovered that his private communications with senior government officials and constitutional advisors were being logged under a new set of security protocols. These protocols, reportedly initiated by Camilla's private office under the guise of high-level protection for the heir, had turned Adelaide Cottage into a digital cage. Every person who entered the prince's home, every secure video call, and every digital briefing was being monitored. William realized that the woman, once seen as a supportive stepmother, was allegedly using the sovereign's authority to keep him under a state of permanent surveillance. The protection was actually illegal. leash. In the high-stakes game of royal succession, knowledge is the ultimate currency, and William had just discovered that his private plans for the monarchy were being sold out from under him before they could even reach the king's desk. William did not wait for a public scandal. He chose the path of the grand enforcer. This leads us to point 9, the final ultimatum. In a move that mirrors the 8 a.m. reckoning he famously enforced to exile Prince Andrew to Marsh Farm, William reportedly demanded an emergency audience with his father. Sources indicate that William walked into the king's study with the nuclear evidence gathered from his digital audit. He didn't just present a complaint, he presented a choice. William reportedly told the king that the silent coup orchestrated by Camilla relied on one thing: keeping the brothers as permanent enemies. By siphoning the king's schedule and weaponizing the spare narrative, Camilla ensured that William was too busy fighting PR wars with Harry to notice her consolidating power behind the throne. The ultimatum was simple but devastating. It is her influence, or the future of the crown. William allegedly made it clear that if Camilla's interference in the line of succession did not end immediately, he would go public with the evidence of the digital cage. For a king already struggling with his health and the weight of the crown, this was the ultimate betrayal. William was no longer asking for permission to lead. He was demonstrating that he already held the power. This brings us to our final point, the royal loyalty poll. The era of the untouchable Camilla is facing its greatest threat, not from the tabloids, but from the future king himself. William has reportedly leaked the details of this internal power struggle to the men in gray, the senior palace officials who have protected the monarchy for centuries. He has ensured that Camilla's reported 1717 reverse clause and her plans for a regency trap will never see the light of state approval. The shield she built around the king has become her own prison. Now the question remains for you, the viewers. Should Prince William officially charge Camilla with interference of the heir and remove her from the palace permanently? Or should King Charles be left to rule under the influence of the woman he has loved for over 50 years? Go to our community tab right now and cast your vote in the Royal Loyalty Poll. Your voice matters in this battle for the soul of the British monarchy. The masks have fallen. What began as a tragic love triangle between Charles, Diana, and Camilla has evolved into a modern-day battle for the very survival of the throne. While the world remains distracted by Prince Harry's lifestyle in California and his children's ultimatum, the real war was always happening inside the palace walls. Queen Camilla, the woman who survived decades of public vilification to become queen, may have finally met her match in the Shadow King. By attempting to manipulate the brotherhood of William and Harry, she inadvertently forced William to become the grand enforcer the monarchy needs. The rift between the brothers may never fully heal, especially with the behavioral dossiers and inheritance strikes now part of the permanent record. But one thing is certain: the future of the crown no longer belongs to the whispers of the past. It belongs to the man who was brave enough to unmask the puppet master. Thank you for joining us for this special CrownGaze investigation. If you found this deep dive into the palace shadows revealing, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Don't miss our next report, where we expose the secret contents of the Diana Vault and how those letters are now being used as a final defense against Camilla's rise. The story is far from over. We'll see you in the next one.